everybody, today's Kinash here from the Kinash Real Estate Group at Remax Penticton. I'm here to deliver a short presentation, actually it's a 10-minute presentation on giving you an update of what's going on in the Penticton Realty Market since the turn of the new year, so from January to April. There's a lot of changes that are happening, and everybody talks about real estate, so it's really nice to be involved in those discussions when you're most informed, and that's the purpose of the following presentation. If you are looking for help with a purchase or sale, please watch this video and ask any questions. I'm here to help and give you on my honest opinion on whether it's the right time to sell or the right time to purchase. There are opportunities still to buy good quality homes in Penticton. It just might mean that you have to change your strategy, or you might have to change your expectation mostly. But there are great homes in Penticton, and I look forward to helping you with them. For now, enjoy the presentation. I know it's statistic based, but it's pretty good, I promise. I really do. Have a good weekend, and we'll speak to you soon. Okay, so what we have here is a chart which stipulates the 4 months that we've had so far this year. The most important thing that this chart tries to tell us is whether we are in a balanced market, whether it's a seller's market or a buyer's market. And we want to see how this changes throughout the year, because it's not the same for a whole quarter. It can change every single month. It can change every single week depending on variables outside, such as government intervention, for example. It can dramatically intervene in the market. So I think the most important thing to learn from this is that if we have a balanced market, we look for a figure of 6 in the months of inventory column. So how that is derived is by dividing the amount of active listings for that particular property category and dividing it by the number of sales in that month. So if we take, for example, January 2018, the single families, the active listings was 97. You would divide that by the number of sales of 39, and you would have months of inventory, which is 2.49. So that suggests in January, for single family homes, it was strongly a seller's market. Days of market is a static figure. It's an average of that property category for that month. So the most important thing is to kind of look at this from how things have changed since January. We're in a completely different market since last year, and the reason for that is a lot of government intervention, to be honest. Mortgage rates have gone up. Stress tests for mortgage qualification is now greater, and I would say also that rental vacancy rates in Penticton are as difficult as they were before, perhaps even more so. So all of these variables have huge influence on what's happening in the market, and specifically on different categories of housing. So for those who don't know what happened at the beginning of the year, is new stress tests were implemented on people who have not only high ratio mortgages or applications for high ratio mortgages, but those for that have conventional mortgages, which is 20% or more. So last year what happened was, if you had less than 20% down, you were high ratio mortgage, you would have to qualify at 2 points above your mortgage rate. So if you got a 3.5% interest rate, you would have to qualify 2 points higher than that to make sure that in the future you could, if the interest rates went up, you could keep those payments. So what happened in January is they said, well, regardless whether you're a high ratio mortgage or if you have, let's say, 60% down on the property, in order to get a mortgage, you still need to qualify at a higher rate. So the outcome of that resulted in about a 20% reduction in what a buyer could afford. So if you were looking to buy a $400,000 house last year, and you had 20% or more down, then you were good to go. This year, now you're looking at about $320,000 for your mortgage qualification, simply because of the new stress test. So it had a huge impact on, I believe, the people that need it the most, the people that are going into entry-level housing. So you can understand how much of an impact that can have on local market conditions. So when we look at this this chart, it's very interesting to see that when we look at months of inventory, which again is figuring out whether we're in a seller's or buyer's market, is we got into such a huge buyer's market for apartment and townhouse inventory over the last 4 months. Especially so in February, where the months of inventory for apartment was 1.79 and a townhouse at 2.2. So that continues to be a trend even now, where in April we're at 2.48 and 1.95 for months of inventory. We are in a buyer's market. We're in a seller's market, for sure. Right now, as we enter spring, for all property categories, but mostly for apartment and townhouses. So what that means for current condo and townhouse owners is that it's a very good time to sell right now, because we have a lot of people looking to buy townhouses and condos, because they've now realized that they can't afford to buy a single-family house or a duplex because of the mortgage rules. They're looking for apartments and townhouses. Townhouses a little bit more so, because they ideally probably want a little bit of a yard for a pet. So great time to sell if you're thinking about letting your apartment or townhouse go. And if you're deliberately trying to get into the next category of housing, maybe a single family, then you could take the profits from your apartment or your townhouse and move into something a little bit bigger. This is the opportune time to do that. What we can see from the single family months of inventory is at the beginning of the year, it was very much a seller's market, and it's what we're starting to get now is a little bit more inventory on the market, and people are having a little bit more options on single family homes. From 2.49 months of inventory in January to 4.41 in April. That's a big change. It's still a seller's market, but there's a little bit more options for people right now in single-family homes. It's interesting because I hear a lot of realtors, and I even sometimes catch myself saying it, is there's very little inventory in housing right now, and that is true, but it's not as tough as what most realtors make out. It's just the quality of the inventory doesn't match our expectations. We started to see not such great houses coming on the market, a lot more of them. So I would say quality-wise in 2016, 2017, it just felt like there was better value and there was more options, and you could see the quality of the home, whereas now we're looking at, I would say, less quality inventory and more of it. But we have to reset our expectations, because this is the reality of our market now. And once those listings sell at the prices which they're listed at, the homes that we would expect to see from 2017 are going to be even more expensive than they are right now. I would say the most interesting thing from the chart is the months of inventory for duplexes. We are very much closer to a balanced market for duplexes, which is very interesting. In January, 6.33, and now in April we're at 5.67. So it looks like there's a little bit more inventory of duplexes, half units sitting on the market right now, and people are not moving on duplexes as quickly. And what I suspect that is because we have $400,000 to $500,000 duplexes out there, and that just seems to be too high of a price point for many purchasers. They like the apartments in the 300,000s up to 400,000s. They like to buy single family homes from 500,000 up to 700,000, and they perhaps have the perception that a duplex at almost $500,000, or half a duplex, sorry, is a lot of money, which it is. So what this tells me for buyers is if you're not finding the single family house that you think is good quality at $500,000 or $600,000 or even $700,000, then perhaps it's time to look at a good half duplex, which is similar square footage to a home, or maybe just a little bit less. Try and negotiate hard right now and get in the best value duplex you can, and sit on it for a couple of years, and then move up the property ladder in the next couple of years and make some money on that duplex. That's very interesting, because we started to see a lot of duplexes come on the market, a lot of new inventory. So do your research, see which is the ones that make the most sense, but that is the best opportunity right now. So for sellers, go and sell your apartments and townhomes. It's a good time to do that. For purchasers, duplex looks like it's a good opportunity right now. And single family, you just have to act very quickly on the good quality stuff, which is getting more difficult. Just really filter down your property search, what you're trying to, which areas you want to focus on. Don't get distracted by looking at other neighborhoods that you don't really want to be in, and just act very, very quickly on the ones that come on the market within the first couple of days at least. So that's pretty much an overview of what's happened in the first quarter in the Penticton Realty market.